The air conditioner is now off, thank goodness.
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
I'll tell you, it just would not have been 2020 without a ridiculously hot and humid summer that necessitated more use of the air conditioner than many other summers beforehand. Now, let's move forward with the next step in the Geekhouse Dark Mode project. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a Jufu LED floor lamp, aka an LED disc lamp. Kind of the signs of the times in today's day and age, because with the maturation or maturity or whatever you want to call it of LED lighting, we're starting to see LED lights that are 100% prefabricated and not actually working with bulbs anymore, like this desk lamp right here. This is something I mistakenly bought from Walmart when trying to get a desk lamp that actually took bulbs. What I wound up with was a desk lamp that has LEDs, and it's kind of middle white, a little bit more warm white than the daylight bulb I'm using it over there. But this is basically where we're going with this LED lighting. When it gets to the point where it's cheaper just to make stuff that's throwaway like this, then what? Unfortunately, it's a new source of e-waste, and I think you all know where I stand on that. Not a fan of it. Regardless, though, I need some special lighting in order to proceed with what I want to do with Geekhouse Dark Mode. So, for example, the ability to light myself or something up and then control it so finely that I can get the best of both worlds. I can get regular light where I need it and then have this trippy Geekhouse Dark Mode light everywhere else. This blue and purple thing, it's not a streamer aesthetic. Again, to remind everybody, this blue and purple thing that I'm going for is basically, it's inspired by a wallpaper from a release of Kubuntu Linux. And that was years before I even thought about live streaming for the first time. So, yeah, blue and purple can be Twitch-type colors, but blue has been my color for a very long time. And of course, I've got the plant light going over here, raising some ferns this time around. So they do kind of come together with Geekhouse Dark Mode to make the place look really trippy. And that's what I'm going for. A wonderful world where the landlord's choice of paint color no longer matters. And the technology is definitely there to do that. Okay, back to some normal lighting here. So this is an LED floor lamp, but it's also a disc lamp. It's very controllable. Even the color of the white light is supposed to be controllable. So what we have here is we have an LED disc array that goes down to a telescoping stand to the bottom. I'm actually thinking of felt bottoming this so I can slide it around the house easily, because I don't really need this kind of a lamp. It's basically going to be for making YouTube videos. I'm trying to get some kind of special lighting going that is very controllable and very tunable. Now, because of the nuttiness at the 9 to 5, this thing actually still is unboxed weeks after it arrived from Amazon. So let's get it out of the box, darn it. Interesting. Well, folks, once again, the joke is on me. One of the pitfalls of buying things on the internet is that pictures sometimes do not tell you the whole story of what it is that you're buying. I thought this thing was going to be the size of the torch lamps that I already use, the Walmart ones anyways. This thing is actually much smaller. We gotta see how tall it is. This disc lamp is not even big enough to span the width of the Delosaurus. So, should be very controllable. Here's the remote. See, we got controls for, what, on, off, change the color temperature of the whole thing as well as the brightness and things like that. And we have different settings and stuff. But how tall is this thing going to be when we finish putting it together? It already looks like it's smaller than the torch lamps that have bulbs that I was already using. So, what exactly have I signed myself up for here? Oh boy, let's finish putting it together. Here's my wild guess. I can actually have the thing running right on the table. It'll go all the way up and it won't even hit the ceiling. Lol the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Monka W. Okay, I was somewhat right. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a manufacturing defect, so it's a little crooked. I'd have to take a look at how some of the metal parts of this thing are threaded in order to fix this. However, this isn't meant to be a permanent light. It's only meant to put light in front of my face, so to speak. So we got the remote here, so let's see what this thing can do. Fire it up, and it turns on and it starts messing with the camera instantly. This is probably going to be another one of those situations where you can't really see this on camera very well. But let's see, if I push the button in the middle, it like maxes it out and it's like super bright. And if I can turn the brightness down, can I? No, up and down is actually the color of the light. So up cools it off. So up cools it off, and then down warms it up. Very interesting. And then left and right is the brightness. You can bring that down all the way. And then there's some presets on here as well. So we got a couple of presets here. So coffee mode is like that. Reading light is a bit more neutral. Computer is very cold. There's a baby light. I don't know what that is all about. And there's gaming mode, which I don't know what the deal is with that. But the interesting thing with this is that the presets will actually switch it over. And then what we can do, we can set the preset and then adjust the brightness. And that's the big thing I'm looking for, is adjusting the brightness down. I don't know what this sleep button does, though. What's that supposed to do? Maybe it has a maybe it has something that turns it off or something. I don't know. And then you just turn it off. So I think it saves the preset that you set when you turn it off and back on again. So the big thing though is that it's adjustable, so it can be used for lighting in various ways. So if I turn it off, I leave it on like studio light mode, it'll come back on at that as well. So what kind of lighting does that give us in terms of keeping the background nice and blue or purple, and then having whoever's in front of it get lit up? Let's go set up some lamps with some smart bulbs and see if we can pull that effect off. Okay, I'd say this sort of works. I can see some of the blue behind me that's showing up from the two lamps that I've got firing up at the wall. The problem is that this paint is a little glossy, so it's not really all that great in terms of taking the light and stuff. Plus, desk lamps may not be the best thing for something like this. But it's not exactly the effect I was looking for. Although if I turn the light off with the remote control here, I can turn into a dark blue shadow anytime I want. All silliness aside though, surprisingly, even this light turned all the way down is a little too bright compared to what I was looking for. I mean, I can turn it up and basically it light pollutions away all the blue lights that are firing on the walls. So, but the fun part is I can just put it all the way down, and I can adjust the warmness to warm it up, turn myself red, and turn the wall purple, and make people think there's something wrong with the camera. But now let's just do cold sunlight like this. This sort of works, but it kind of reminds me of back in college when I was studying some astronomy. I couldn't really figure out the whole light pollution thing. Well, it's just the sort of thing that just didn't click with me at all. I was like, how can light mess with other light? Like, hold on a second. So, it took going home for a semester break away from the city back to the woods for me to see more stars in the sky and realize that, yeah, there is such thing as light pollution, and that light can interfere with other light, particularly if the light that's interfering is brighter. So if I want to go as blue as possible, that means going shadow mode. But it also means taking this lamp, and with how small it is, I can spin it around pretty easily. So now I've got it pointed largely at the door. So yeah, and I'm kind of losing some of the light here. How about if we put it firing over that way? Getting a bit more three-point lighting and stuff. Oh, I got it firing into the door jamb now. So a little bit of reflections here and there. So the best thing to do is to not reflect the white light off of any nearby walls in order to get as much blue as possible into the background. I still don't know if this is really the best thing to do when it comes to this kind of effect that I'm looking for, as opposed to just getting an RGB light or RGB disc light or something, shutting this off and just being all blue all the time. You see, I think that's part of the problem with lighting effects in general, is that it's always going to be really experimental. Fortunately with this thing, there's lots of ways to experiment and change what actually shows up on the screen. So, very interesting. Probably should have shaved more before I did this too. Whatever. Or maybe, just maybe, my future is quite blue. Hey, let's also mess with this in post a little as well. Well now, what should I think of that? I wonder. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.